Hello, thanks for tuning into the channel. My name is Xander and today we're going to go over a little known thing called gun safety. Now, you're probably thinking, Xander, how can you be safe with a gun? Guns are mass killing devices meant to murder 1,000 rabbits in 10 seconds. Well, there's plenty of ways we can be safe with guns, but we've got to go over a few things first. So first off, a little bit about me. My name is Xander, I'm originally from Scotland and I live in Canada. The firearm experience that I have dates back to probably around 2005-2006 when I joined the Army Cadets in Scotland. There I shot rifles like the L86. We had Lee Enfield 22s and then a multitude of like 22 target rifles that we used at like 50, 100, 200 meters and so on. I did win a couple of medals and awards in that time, although I was definitely not at the top of my unit. I moved to Canada in 2010 and in 2019 I got my firearms license. And I will give a disclaimer for this. Everything that I'm going to talk about is how I do my firearms, and nothing what I'm saying should be construed as advice that I'm giving to yourself, especially not legal advice. So to start, we're going to go over the Universal Firearm Safety Rules. There's 4 main rules that everybody should be very familiar with before they're even putting their hands on a firearm. The first rule is treat all firearms as if they're loaded. So what that essentially comes down to is if you see a firearm and pick it up, you've got to clear that firearm, make sure it's safe. If someone hands a firearm to you, even if they showed you that it's clear and safe, you also check to make sure it's clear and safe. You also have to know the condition of your firearm, and that means basically at any point, whether you're holding it, sit it down, whatever, you need to know that that thing is loaded or unloaded. If you can't say with 100% certainty that it's unloaded, you've got to check it. Rule 2 is to keep your finger off the trigger until you have acquired your target in your sights and you've made the active decision to shoot. So what that means is your finger isn't never ever in here until you're actually ready to shoot. Typically with rifles and shotguns, any type of long gun, the rest up here is the best. Some people will just hold it like that, but I like to keep my index finger up there and you can just simply slide down. But the main thing is to keep it out of the trigger guard. For pistols is a little different, but pretty much the same premise. You take a hold of the firearm and you keep your finger along the slide here. Fortunately with this Glock, part of the takedown, you can actually feel the little knurled pin that's on the inside. My finger rides right above that, so I know when I feel that I've got an active, positive, safe grip on the firearm. The third rule is to never point the firearm at anything you're not willing to completely destroy. That one is pretty self-explanatory. You don't point the firearm at anyone or anything for fun. It doesn't matter if it's unloaded or loaded. This is the rule that is typically considered one of the bigger ones, and it is the one that when you break, you will be kicked off of any range. You will not be welcome to shoot with other people because there is a certain amount of maturity, that goes with owning and shooting firearms. And the last rule is to always be sure of what is your target and what's beyond. So just because you're shooting into a paper target on a fence, that bullet's going to go through the fence, so you got to know what's beyond that. Typically when people are shooting, the ideal place is to do it at a shooting range or at a somewhat registered range like a gravel pit, somewhere where you're going to have a complete backstop into a hillside, as opposed to shooting out over a place where you could potentially kill someone or something beyond that. In Canada, when you apply for your firearm license and you go through the Canadian Firearm Safety course, one of the big things that they drill into you that you will be tested on, and if you fail on it, you completely fail, is an acronym called ACTS and PROVE. I'm not going to get into ACTS and PROVE in this video. I will get into it and do a full overview of it in another video. I don't like ACTS and PROVE. I'll be completely honest about it. I never liked it from the start, and it's something that I kind of like butted heads with the instructors about. It has nothing to do with like how it is not good making your firearm safe. I just think it overcomplicates the process. So when I was in Army Cadets and I learned to shoot, we'd be given the command, make safe. So whenever I was shooting and I heard CO shout make safe, then I knew straight away, I have to unload the firearm, so take the source of the ammunition out of it, the magazine, check the chamber, clear the chamber, put the firearm down. It's good, it's safe. Put the safety on as well if it's got a safety. It's safe. The accent proof just overcomplicates that process to me because it adds into the mix some of the universal firearm safety rules which you should always apply regardless. There are a couple of different ways to lock up your firearms in accordance with the law. We're not going to get into full details today, but I'm just going to give a quick overview of some of the ways you can lock your firearm. The first way, the most common way, is a trigger lock. Trigger locks are very, very common in Canada. These ones are 3 number combinations that you set yourself, and it's real easy to do. It's real simple. All you have to do is open the trigger lock, put the back through the trigger guard, lock it into place, click, 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 change the combi on it, and it's legally safe. So this counts for non-restricted firearms in Canada. For when you are transporting them, you'll probably want to have them locked up like that. One of these is considered good enough. At home you have to have it locked up as well. One of these is considered good enough. They also have cable locks. A cable lock is exactly what you imagine. Usually you need a key for them, so I don't really prefer them. I'd rather have all the combis in my head than be fumbling around for keys. There's also safes and storage cabinets, both of which we'll go into deeper in other videos, but that's just a quick overview of how you can keep your guns safe from someone else. So we will also do a quick overview of PPE. PPE is personal protection equipment. This is a must when you're shooting. Shooting guns is loud. There's no way around it. Even if you're just shooting a little 22 long rifle, that's still at the decibel range that will cause your ears permanent damage. And anyone that has shot for years and hasn't worn earplugs will be able to tell you, or maybe they won't be so open about it, that they have hearing damage. Especially if you're a young shooter getting into this for the first time, protect your ears. So for hearing protection, really the best place you can be is to get yourself a pair of active headphones. This pair of cost me about $60, and they've been absolutely fantastic. You basically put them on, turn on the wee thing on the side there. You can talk to your fucking pals on the range, and
your fucking pals. Sorry, I'm sorry.
You can talk to your pals on the range, and when a shot goes off, you won't hear anything because these will kick in. We'll do a full review on these at some point in the future, but that's not the purpose of today's video. Most people would agree that eye protection isn't as important as the hearing protection, but this does stop projectiles from hitting your eyes and blinding you forever. This is a pair that I got when I worked in a previous workplace. They're rated by someone for impacts. So that's something you should look into, but I will admit, I don't always use them. So tomorrow we're going to go out into some Crown land and take out all of these 3 rifles that you see here sitting in front of me, and we're going to show you how to load, unload, make them safe. This is all going to be some really basic stuff, but at least here we have 1 of 3 of the each actions, and I will go over them for you quickly here. The first one is a Marlin Model 795 in 22 long rifle. This one's got a 10 round box magazine. It's a semi-automatic, and it's a fairly good gun for the kind of low end kind of budget price range that's at. You can find these in Canada for under $300. You can put a scope on them, and if you want to see us do a review on something like this in the future, give us a wee like and subscribe. The second one that we're going to go over tomorrow is a Coué Model 600. This one shoots 22 long rifle, 22 long and 22 short, which makes it a very good utility gun. This one was made somewhere before 1980, but there is no serial numbers on it, so I can't tell. This one is tube fed, so it'll be a good one for us to go over tomorrow, as it's something not a lot of people use. This one was gifted to me by my father when I got my firearms license, so it's pretty sentimental. The last one that we're going to go over tomorrow is a Chiappa Double Badger. This one is a break barrel rifle that is chambered in 410 bore and 22 long rifle, dual caliber rifle, 2 triggers, so we're going to have some fun with this one. And that concludes this section of the video. We'll see you tomorrow morning, and we're going to show you how to load, unload and make safe all 3 of these rifles. So we're out here in some Crown land today, and I'm going to show you how to load, unload and make safe all three of the rifles we went over yesterday. As I said before, this one is a Kui model 600, this one is a bolt action magazine tube fed 22, which is a little bit different to what you normally see, but we'll go over it regardless. So to load this firearm, you have to make sure the safety is on. By this one is just a little knob on the back that you turn. Safety is on, bolt is closed, firearms pointed in a safe direction, finger off the trigger, universal firearm safety rules, we already went over that. We're going to take out the tube magazine from the bottom here, and it will actually give us a little loading port of which we can drop our Aguila 22 Super Extra ammunition into. So we'll do that now. Really easy, you just have to turn the little brass piece inside of it, open it up until you actually see the loading gate open up, which is right here. Put your ammunition in, 22 long rifle, 22 long, 22 short, in facing forward. It is keyed down here. And you just drop them in there. Close it up, be careful not to put your finger in front of the muzzle at any time. And that's how you chamber the round. Now that we have ammunition loaded into the magazine, the way to chamber a round on this rifle is to disengage the safety, open the bolt up, take it back. You can see that the ammunition is now ready to be loaded actually into the chamber. You push it forward and lock it down. The firearm is now loaded and hot and ready to be shot. The way to unload a tube fed rifle, even though it is bolt action, the only real way to unload it except from firing the ammunition is to actually open up the tube feed. Basically the exact same opposite way that we loaded it. And let them all fall out. And for the heck of it, since we're out here, we might as well take a couple of shots. So just as I'm getting loaded up here for the next little demonstration, I'd have thought in a lot of places you have to wear blaze orange if you're going to be hunting. Something like one of these vests here. Honestly, I have no care for them. They're not legally required in my area. But if that's something you want to wear, I totally encourage that. You can load it with one of the magazines that come with it. You can load it into either open bolt or closed bolt, it's up to you. So then once you've got the magazine in, you can close the bolt by depressing this little button. And the firearm is loaded. To unload the firearm, we first have to put the safety on. In this case, it is a little trigger safety that we will push to the right, so we know that is clear. We will take the source of the ammunition out, put it in our pocket, and we know there's one still left in the chamber, so we'll cycle that. And we know it's clear. And then since we're here, we might as well shoot it as well. When the bolt stays back and it no longer fires, the magazine is clear. The firearm I can see is clear and safe. Now we can move on. And for dessert, we have the Chiappa Double Badger in 410 bore and 22 long rifle. This one is a dual action rifle. The way to open this firearm first, because it's a little different than what you'd see normally, is a break barrel. You have to manually engage this lever, pushing it down. So you grip under your arm, hand up here, lever forward, and break down at the same time. This will open up the action. When you open up the action of a break barrel, all you have to do is to look into the chamber, or in this case chambers, and look that it's clear, and in this case we know it's safe. And now since we're here, we'll shoot it. To unload it, real simple, open up the action, take grip, both shells are in there, dump them out. In this case, they didn't dump out because it's cold.